right, DCMikeTV.com. I'm right here with boxer and manager of Austin Deanda, Scott Sigman. Scott, good to see you again, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. Former boxer.
Okay. When did you retire?
Back in March.
Okay, that was recent.
Yeah, I did a 12-week training camp to face a 36-0 opponent. Lost 25 pounds. Sold 1,500 tickets, and the guy backed out the week of the fight. I don't want to miss that kind of time from my family again.
Right.
So I think 55 pro fights is good enough.
Right. It is. Yes, it is. All right. Scott Sigman, you obviously have a fighter, undefeated fighter named Austin Deanda from Virginia. He's undefeated right now, 15-0, 10 knockouts. He has a big fight coming up. He just fought about a month. Did he fight about a month ago?
Yeah, he fought. What day was that? Maybe September 7th, I believe was the date. It could have been September 9th, but I believe it was September 7th. He won a split decision, 10-round fight against, rugged veteran Vitaly Gubkin. Gubkin did a great job. Austin answered a lot of the questions against the adversity that I'd like to see from a prospect like that. Mm-hmm. And then here we are right back on the ESPN card.
Yep, ESPN, November 8th. Keyshawn Davis taking on Gustavo Lemos. You guys on the undercard is first. ESPN television debut. Austin Deanda will be taking on DeAundre Pettus. Is that his name?
That's correct.
Yep. DeAundre Pettus, who's 12-2, a good record as well. 12-2, 15-0. It would have been great to get Austin Deanda on here, but obviously,
Austin, he's not real big. He's not a real big talker. I've been trying to, prep him up for media training and stuff like that, and he's a little burned out, I think, just from having the 10-rounder and then coming up on ESPN. But I'm always good for talking. I think Austin is going to look really spectacular in this fight. I'm pretty disappointed that I couldn't give him a little bit of time off. So we're probably going to have to give him a couple of months off after this one. It's been a hard 2 back-to-back training camps. I think Pettus is I wouldn't say he's a step up or a step down from Gubkin. I think he's a lateral step that's going to present a different set of issues. He fights at a different distance than Gubkin does. He applies a different amount of pressure than Gubkin does. His hand speed is, I believe, certainly less. But I will say Pettus is probably much meaner. I would say Pettus is a much bigger puncher. And Pettus is motivated by one of the greatest motivational forces in all of boxing, and it's his hatred towards me.
So obviously you've been on Austin Deanda for a very long time. So like you said, you don't think it's a step up, you think it's a lateral step. So obviously Austin's a pretty big puncher on paper, 10 out of 15 knockouts. Is Austin looking to, obviously you can't speak for him, but I mean, do you feel like, Austin,
I don't, we never go into a fight looking for the knockout. There's been a couple of guys that feel like he's let off the hook in his career. I do think the one thing that benefits Pettus in this fight is it is only an 8-rounder. It's his first 8-rounder. I think Deanda has had at least nine 8 or 10 round bouts already. So this will be his 10th if I'm not mistaken. So the 8 rounds I think probably favors Pettus, honestly. But Austin, he likes to pick and prod, try to get that information, find the timing, and he usually breaks them down because he's a very skillful defensive fighter. So I think usually it's probably from them being disheartened by how low of percentage of punches that they're landing on him. I think probably breaks him down mentally more than physically. He did almost get Gubkin out in that last round. He hurt him several times, but Gubkin had put a good beating on Deanda too. So I think Austin didn't have enough starts left to get him out of there.
What do you think Austin learned from his fight with Vitaly Gubkin that he can take into this fight?
I think he learned to listen to me during his fight camps.
Good answer. So how do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, you know, somebody as sublimely talented as Austin, you got to remember, he only picked up the boxing glove 4 years ago. He had boxed for about half a year before he turned pro, no amateur fights. So, you know, he's been on this upward trajectory like this. And, you know, I've been telling him, you know, eventually we're going to start running into other guys that are in shape, that are fast, that are gritty. You know, they all want that money.
Right.
So, I mean, and, you know, I think he's cut some corners. Previously, he is a very hard worker, though. I mean, I'm not down in by any means. I mean, he's one of the hardest working fighters I've ever trained. But where we're going, if he wants to be the best, those guys cut no corners, and that's just what I've been trying to. You know, if it's 1,800 calories that day, you can't eat 1,900.
Right.
If it calls for 3 miles, you can't run 2.7.
Right.
You know, you got to do the exact right amount of work for what. You know, we got a great nutritionist, a great strength coach working in unison with me, and he's just got to follow the plan to a T. And I think that you know, that 97-93 scorecard that had him losing, although he won on the other two, I think that was enough of a wake up call for him to make sure he follows the plan down to an exact science.
No doubt. No doubt. Obviously, you know, how do you see the fight going between Austin and DeAundre Pettus on November 8th on ESPN?
I think, you know, I don't want to give too much of the game plan away, but I mean, I think that you'll see and you know, it's going to depend on Pettus. You know, Pettus might come out a little, like I said, he really dislikes me, might go a little crazy. And if he does, he might win the first couple of rounds, and then we'll break him down and stop him late. But I think really, you know, he's got great coaches around him. I think Pettus will come out. I think the first 4 rounds we'll probably win 2, 3 of them. And I think Pettus will start taking more risk, and you know, he may win a round or 2 in the middle, but it's going to really be up to Pettus in those middle rounds if he wants to finish the fight or not. Because if Pettus really wants to win the fight, he's going to get stopped. If he wants to survive, he can survive. You know, I got his money man down there. I already got a $5,000 side bet that he's getting stopped. So now, you know, maybe Pettus, he decides he wants to survive the fight just to make sure his guy gets his $5,000, which is fine too, because no matter what, you know, Deanda's either going to win or that guy's going to get carried on the stretcher. So I win both ways.